Greetings, everyone. Rev.Hawksblood here. All right, now I'm switching my names a little. I'm going to start using Reverend. I am a minister. I can open up a church if I want. I seriously thought about that a long time ago. But this show today, it's going to be long. And whoever's listening, make sure that children or whatever, whoever is listening with you, make sure you want them to hear the truth. Well, whether you're going to agree with it or not, it's a different story. But I'm going to put the truth out there. Probably the highest truth you can get. But that's going to be up to you to decide. So sit down, relax. Like I said, I'm not going to be answering questions. Greetings, everybody. I'm going to be answering questions during the show because I got too much to get through, and I don't know how many hours it's going to be. If anything serious happens, I might have to cut it short. But I plan on going a distance to get this done today. So, again, whoever's around you, make sure you want them to hear the truth, or are they ready for the truth? Because if you're going to get mad and don't want to hear it, don't listen, please. This isn't going to be anything that's going to make you super happy, that's for sure. It's not going to be anything that's going to make you make money or become a super high being, but it's going to lead you in the right direction if you're ready. Now, I'm just trying to think how I should start this. I'll give you my word. There will be things you never heard. Promise you that. Things you will not like. And this is not what people are going to call a religion. It's not a religion, what I'm talking about. It's called life. And it's the life of soul. S-O-U-L. Soul. What you are. All right. There's a difference between truth and everything else. Because just about everything else man created out of his own thinking, own thoughts, and own programmed mind. Even though they were programmed at a certain point in time as well. All right. I'm not going to get into that in detail right now. I kind of went into that a couple days ago. All right. Aliens' truth, more lies. False prophets, more lies. Spiritual masters, half-truths. They got a little more awareness than most people do have, but they combine it with their thinking, which is not 100% spiritual or spiritually aware. Now, spirits, false truth. And now we talk about angels. Are you really dealing with an angel? All right. How do you know? How do you test an angel if they're real or not? All right. There's ways. I'm not going to say it right now. I'm not going to give you all the information in 1 second. But there are ways to test what you're dealing with. Aliens, demons, ghosts, angels, deities. All right. Each have different things that they are accountable to. Obviously, it's God. But that's besides the point. We'll get there later. How many people on this planet deserve what they ask for? You know, nothing seems right. Nothing seems fair. In that, basically, have an accident, you lose a leg, lose a child, lose something, lose your eyesight, all those things. It's not fair. It doesn't seem fair. But if you can start understanding a real God, not making one up, you'll understand the difference between a man-made God and a real God. There's only one God. To start there. There's deities that play God. There's aliens that play God. The Egyptians, the Mayans, they were working with aliens. The Hindu people were working with deities. I mean, Hindu is the oldest religion on the planet. So people follow what things they feel are the highest they can attain or get in touch with. All right. Higher beings. How do you know they're higher beings? From where? Of what? What's a higher being? They vibrate higher? Well, do you know what a tuning fork is? You hit it and it vibrates. All right. Everybody has a sound like that. We all have our own sound, and it's actually your name. All right. And when you play that sound, it affects things. The same as a tuning fork, a high-pitched tuning fork will shatter a glass. So you think God's love, light, and called energy comes into this reality? If it did, the earth would explode. This earth isn't based on that kind of. Science will never get there because we're at a lower vibration. You have to leave this world to vibrate higher without causing serious problems to this planet or where you're going, where you would be just pretty much back here real fast. But vibration's critical. But the sound, all right, which is the vibration of everything has a vibration, comes from God itself. And it comes from all the many realms from God to hear. But every realm it goes through, it gets weaker and weaker until it comes into hell. Planet Earth, all right? This realm is hell. Now, whatever your definition of hell is, I mean, the Pope said it's not real, but it is real. I'm going against everybody you know, every speaker, every other person on the planet. Am I crazy? I say I'm crazy going sane. And I say everybody else is sane going crazy. Big difference between the two. I'm going towards God. Most people are pulling away from it. And what do you want to be? Where do you want to be in that space? What do you really want to do? All right, that's up to you. I mean, I had good friends that were not spiritual, and some they claim they were. So, and they use names, they use people, they use entities and stuff. I know when people talk about Satan and Lucifer is the demon that all these cult groups and Knights Templar, Masons, and everybody supposedly are worshiping. No, they're not. Lucifer is not the bad person in this picture. He fell, but so did all the other, not all, many of the other angels did with him. But he's the one that's allowed to stay where he is and do what he's doing. And it's not here on planet Earth. Satan has that role, was given that permission to do it. Nobody's going to take him out except God, people. Jesus was with him, spent a long time with him. He couldn't take him out, and it wasn't his place too. Jesus was a man. All right, I know you don't like that word. He's God. No, he was never God. Never said he was, ever. One sentence in the Bible says, well, he did, but he didn't. He didn't say that sentence. I mean, and then man, I'll get into what kind of people he was talking to, dealing with. Not right this second. All right. Now, the other word, which is really critical, all right, that you have to deal with and learn and understand, it's karma. K-A-R-M-A. Karma. Do you really have karma? Yes, you do. How many lifetimes did you go through because of karma? Many. Most religions, not most, many religions do not believe in reincarnation. They think they're good, they go to heaven. Really? Again, what do you think you're going to do there? We'll get into all that in time. Like I said, I'm going to go through as many things as I can and get back onto them in a little bit more detail, each one of them. All right. When we go through reincarnations, how many more times do you want to reincarnate? Some people say, oh, I'll come back. I can do this all over again. But next time I'll be a little smarter. I'll make a little more money. What do you do when you come back? Create another family? Have a bunch more children? Buy 10 more houses, 10 more cars, buy a boat? Well, now I could buy an island. Wow. Now what are you going to do with the island? Well, these super rich people buying islands. All right. Why? Well, there's a problem coming, people. If you can't see it, I'm going to say this maybe 3 times through this talk. UN Agenda 21-30. Find out what it is, read about it, understand it. You're in step 4, stage 4, whatever you want to call it. And it will be 2030 when we are full swing of what it meant and what it is. One world order. Oh, I don't believe in this. I don't believe in, blah, 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 blah. Well, just watch the world. Watch what happens this year, next year. Now, I'm not going to go into this later, but 5G, what do you think it is? It was created as a weapon. It wasn't created for a phone service. But don't worry, it's not going to be around much longer. All right. There's a lot of technology that they're going to throw at humans in a great way to change that even. I can't go into the details. If you do a lot of research, you'll understand 5G, what it can do, what it affects, and how it does. But I'm not going to get into it. You need to do that because I'll lose the show before I even get halfway through it, probably. Who knows? All right. False truth from an angel. What do you think they can tell you that's going to be beneficial to you? If they're a real angel, a lot. If they're not, nothing. They'll give you the illusion or delusion that earth is important, that the job you have is so important. What's the main thing that most people believe is important? Being nice. All right? Was the human race ever nice anywhere in history? Ever? Only once in Atlantis, but that was destroyed. Never again after. Now, the other word that they push and shove and promote and say over and over, love, Love. What's love? Temporary. Most people, it's temporary. Well, you're going to die. You can't take the person with you, so obviously you're not going to be able to love them the same way at all. But then again, what is love? People have 3 marriages, 4 marriages, divorced, all that. What's love mean? You love your cat, you love your dog, you love the forest, you love trees. And so, does it change anything? The other ridiculous statement is unconditional love. Oh, God loves us unconditionally. Why? Who said that? God said to you, I love you no matter what you do. Kill people and I'll still love you. Did he? Did it say that? Really? Do you believe that? Why? Because you want to. You believe what you want to believe, not what is real or not, just what makes you think everything's good. Oh, I'm protected because I'm going to heaven. Why? How do you know? What's in heaven? What do you want to go there for? Why are you tired of earth? What's wrong with earth? What do you know about earth that you don't know about heaven? You don't know much about heaven at all, do you? All right. Now, in your lifetime, in this one, you got 125 days. Sorry, 125 years, max. And you're supposed to learn and do and accomplish and attain everything. But see, now man has lowered that to what can I do in this lifetime? What kind of job or what kind of creation? What can I make to make this world better? Science, technology, inventions take away from who we are every which way. The way we slaughter animals, the way we cook and eat, what we eat, and all those things take away from living in a natural state. Well, we didn't move forward. We're not here to make planet move forward with us. We're only here for one reason. And I hope you figure it out before I get to saying it. All right. Now, if you believe in karma, you're going to be working it out in this lifetime. But sadly, most people create more. Why would I create more karma? Because we do. I mean, going against the physical laws, you create karma. Here. How bad is it to your soul and everything else is depending. If it hurts another person, it becomes extremely dangerous. If it hurts a child, extremely dangerous. If you hurt an animal, it becomes extremely dangerous. Thinking you can kill because somebody told you to is extremely dangerous. All the things you accept as okay are not okay. You want to believe it's okay. I mean, Moses came out with the 10 Commandments. They weren't good enough for him, so he created 613. But the 10 Commandments, what's the main one? Love God. How about thou shalt not kill? Thou shalt not kill. Kill what? Anybody? Anything? Justify reasons for doing it. There are no just reasons to kill somebody. You may believe it and think it and feel it. Somebody's coming in your house, they're busting up everything, they go to jump on you or something. You're a girl, a man, whatever. I can kill him now. No, you can't. Not even under our laws. You'll go to court. You'll have to go to court for a year fighting that it was self-defense and all these other words. But what about non-self-defense even? Going to another country and shooting and blowing up kids and families and everything else. For what reason? Well, they're bad and we gotta, what? Kill people. We justify everything we do, especially when it's not true or right. Karma is evil. Karma can be good. We rather choose the evil part of karma. I say we, it's part of the universe, part of this world. Always take the bad road instead of the good road. Oh, there's no such thing as good and bad. Believe what you want. Create as much karma as you want. You'll never leave this realm, not just planet Earth, this realm, ever until it's worked out. Now, I'm going to get in. I'll say it right now because I don't know if I'll get back to it later. But when you go to a psychic healer and you ask them to heal me, take away my karma, they can't do it, people. Oh, I'm sick and I want to be healed. That's called temporary healing. The mind pushing adrenaline through the body, doing it. I promise you. Look at a person 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Maybe they make it till close to the end of their lifetime. Guess what? They're dying. We all die, no matter how you heal. Why don't you just ask your healer, heal me so I don't die. Heal me that I don't ever get sick again. All right? Again, your karma determines what's going to happen to you sooner or later. You're allowed to keep creating karma. And sometimes when you're on a roll of creating karma, spirit lets you do it. Create as much as you want. Go to Russia, go to Vietnam, kill 10,000 people. Got a cannon, a laser, whatever you can use. And do whatever you want. But people do it. Governments do it. We blow up countries, blow up cities, we blow up whatever you want. The way they slaughtered the native people, the way they slaughtered the Quakers. I mean, we just kill, kill, kill. Does that fit into any picture of being spiritual? All right, how many people claim they're spiritual? In the speaking realm world of writers and speakers, many do. How do you become spiritual, people? Think about it. Well, I raised my vibration. Now I'm a six-dimensional vibrating at sixth dimension. And what can you do? What's different about you? Well, I'm a six-dimensional being. I vibrate higher. Can you shatter a glass by just vibrating? Can you do things that you say you're new and better at now? It's a mind program, a mind game. Mind likes to tell them tell themselves anything they want to hear to move forward in their thinking. Not as soul. They don't care about what soul wants. Soul doesn't need any of this, really. All right. Here's a sentence that's very important. Now, you'll probably just say it's a stupid sentence or it doesn't make any sense. Most people do not realize this. Things that make you feel good are usually lies. Sounds stupid, doesn't sound real, but it's true. You think something makes you feel good for a while, a relationship, a marriage, having children, it changes. But when you talk about making money and a job you have to have, and all those kind of words and things, what are they doing? What are they telling you? That you're a better person now because you make this much more money than everybody else does? Oh man, I didn't want to do that. Something just happened. Sorry about that. I'm trying to pick up some things. All right. Now, I'm going to do this right now. All right. Let me just see if I can do it this way without getting too far down the road. All right. It's going to be the most important thing based on your religion. All right. What religion are you? Do you have a religion? Do you believe in religion? You believe in spiritualism? Okay. Where are you spiritually? What's that mean to you? What's it mean about death and life? And does it have any answers for any of that? That your system or your belief system, whatever you want to call it, has answers for? 99% of everybody I talk to go, well, nobody knows that. Well, nobody knows nothing then. If nobody knows the truth, nobody knows nothing. You don't think there's people, a few souls, that know the truth? Do I claim to? You decide by what you hear. Because if you accept it, it might mean true. If you don't, it doesn't. But if you listen to what I'm telling you, you'll understand a little more about how to find the truth. It's there. It's always there. Now, when I say the most important truth, it's something that, well, realize is like 2.5 billion Christians, 2.2 billions, all right, that believe certain things. All right. Now, men and women have life, die, reincarnate, life again, die, life again. But when they start getting into a belief system, They want to believe in a word. And I'm gonna just break it down a little bit. All right, there's a word that they look for: good, peace, and love. There lies to all life here, because you're only going to be with these people for 125 years, right? That's not a long time. So think about that. How long you want to stay here? I'm tired of being here. I had 5 death experiences. All right, each one of them proved more and more about the inner world and inner reality than this physical reality. It's boring here. Oh, I could watch football. I could play baseball. I could do this. I could go skiing. I could jump off a plane. I could go swimming. And, here's the thing: take all the things that make you happy, put it together in a year, 10 years, 20 years. Take all the things that make you sick and every other word, put that together. How many years is that? Take all the time you sleep, put that together. All the time you eat and take a shower, brush your teeth, and all that, put that together. How much time are you really enjoying yourself to the max? Think about it. And this is such a great life. Uh, and now you got many people, including Buddha, saying this isn't real. This is a dream. What I say to those people, anybody, I would say it to Buddha's face, I would say it to anybody: if this is a dream, you have a real lousy dream, don't you? You dream pretty lousy. Why don't you make it a good dream? If you've got a dream and you're going to create everything in it, why don't you create good things? Why are there such bad stuff in it? Rape, abuse, child sales, and all those kinds of things. Why? Why are they in your dream? If it's just a dream, why don't you just erase it? I can change my dreams, but I got to wake up, go back into it. That's how I usually change them. But being able to do that's pretty cool. I mean, there's things you can do with dreams. Understand what they're telling you. Dreams tell you things. Somebody just came out, a UFO speaker, talking about how your dream tells you everything that's going to happen. He has no clue why he's saying that or what it really means. And he's going to teach you how to do it. No, all it is, soul, which you are, all right, doesn't live in the same time frame that we do. When you go to sleep and soul steps out of the body, it can do 2-3 years worth of work that you would take to do it here in a half hour, in a minute. So the time that soul lives in is not the same time that the body lives in. But it has to use that body to hang around on this planet. But that's where the word astral projection came in, which is even being abused right now. All right? Being able to leave your body. It's the first most important thing you need to learn. Not hard. Well, very few people can do it because attention's not really on that. They're more concerned with, well, if I go and see something, I want to attain this or I want to do that. Already put guidelines and draw up the conclusion of what has to happen. All right? I'll tell you this: when you leave your body, in the beginning, for a couple of years maybe, you need to meet something there. And you've got a lot of things you could meet. You need to meet the right things. All right? Everybody on this planet has a spiritual guide. Some have 2, some have 3. And why would they want to help you? Why do you want to help anybody else? All right, they're at that level. There's one level, thinking that that's important. All right, helping everybody do what? Eat? We're not doing that, are we? Survive? I mean, it shows on TV these young kids having children, and the boy's telling his girlfriend that she can't do that. They're not even married. They're having a child, and he's telling her what to do. Just as this abortion law that's being forced and changed and trying and all that stuff. Man has always tried to take away women's rights. All right? And it started since, I'd say about 40,000 years ago. when the aliens came here and reprogrammed most humans into a belief system. There were multiple races here. A lot of them just left. 5 races actually left, 4 stayed, and they became the program of alien teachings. Oh, I don't believe it. You think killing should be justified ever? Who created the idea of it? Well, I watched an animal and he was hungry, so he killed something and ate it. So yeah, that's what we do. Kill everything that moves on this planet and eat it. Do we have to? Do we have to kill animals? Atlantis, we didn't eat meat. Nobody ate meat. We didn't kill any. It was a different time, different place. Everything was different. Yes. We use psychic abilities for the benefit of the world and our people, not for the government, not for another country. We didn't consider ourselves that either. When people say we're all one, you might have had that slight idea way back if you were here in Atlantis. But we all aren't the same soul. We aren't all the same consciousness. A ridiculous, stupid, ignorant idea. If we all had the same consciousness, same everything, we'd be thinking the same, and not one person thinks the same. Well, no, there's no We're separate. Buddha had that wrong. So did all the other teachers that try to say we're all one. We're all one consciousness. Well, God's its own consciousness. It doesn't need your stupid consciousness or mine or anybody else's. To think it does is downplaying God right there. Something nobody has the right to do, and yet everybody does it. And I mean, when the 10 Commandments say certain things like don't use the name God in vain, how many people do it around the world? People in any religion uses God or Jesus in vain. Why? People don't say effing Buddha or effing whatever, anybody that they're following or whatever. Why is it always to the most spiritual person that has ever walked this planet? And then a being that nobody knows, and they curse that up because they don't know it. If they did actually know God, I never use the word God ever in a bad statement, ever. Cut my arm off. I wouldn't blame God for it. And people do. Karma is what you should be blaming. Your own karma, which you create, use, and it bugs you, changes you, does everything to you. The people you bring into your reality, bring their karma along with yours, and you can create more. Going into a bank robbery with a bunch of people, doing those kind of things, getting in a whole den of drug addicts and things. Oh, it's good, it's peaceful, it's relaxing. You get escape from reality. They can't live with this reality. Why do you think they deserve to go to another reality? Because they died, they're going to go to heaven, a heavy drug addict died, and they're going to go to heaven now? Oh, well, did he ask forgiveness? Does asking for forgiveness help you get there? Really? How many people know anything about death? Seriously? Well, man has never been at peace in the past 40,000 years. Women were slaves all the way up until Jesus came. No lie, women had no rights. Women were nothing. I mean, Joan of Arc, a couple people in the Bible that were women. Right? There wasn't many. Any story about a woman was definitely deleted from the Bible, not put in it. Any story about them in general. But when you hear all the stories, it's always a man that's doing the thing, Noah, Lot, and people like that. And then it's the woman in the background, like Lot's wife turned around, turned to stone. It's always persecuting the woman in our stories. But Moses' story, he killed all these children, good and bad. Well, he blames the Pharaoh. The Pharaoh said something, and that's what happened. So who was the black magician? The Pharaoh or Moses? He says, whatever you say will happen. Well, kill everybody, and everybody died. Is that who's to blame? The light, the pure light, does not kill anything, people. Now, here's something you can learn. If you stare at the sun in the morning and late afternoon, you'll become more aware of certain things. And believe it or not, you'll be able to stare at the sun without burning your eyes out. Because soul is pure light at its highest level. So when it's in this body, it takes this dumb form, these dumb eyes, and everything else. And it doesn't have to. But you choose to. All right. Now, but then, people get into this whole thing. Uh, Good people have to suffer. Good people aren't here. This is hell. Good people don't live in hell, people. And the difference between hell and a more spiritual place, including so-called this astral plane, where all soul goes when it dies if it leaves this realm. All right? The good have to suffer. They don't. No, not true. People that think they're good, I don't have to suffer. Millionaires think they don't have to suffer. I'll say it now, but I'll say this again too. Jesus said it, and many times, not once. It's easier for a camel to go through an eye of a needle than a rich person to get into heaven. So all you rich people, think about that statement. Why would Jesus say it over and over? Because he was a dummy, because he didn't believe in people, or he didn't know what rich was? No, that's not the reason. How can you be a billionaire, a millionaire, a multimillionaire with that money sitting in the bank when children in your neighborhood are starving and people, child sales, and you're not doing a thing about it and you don't even care? And you're a spiritual person? Really? Sorry, Jesus said, if the laws are unjust that you have to live by, you change them. You go against the law, you get put in jail. You've got to change the law so you can do it and not get put in jail the proper way. Okay. Now, people say the good and the bad. What's good and bad, people? Tell me. You think you know? All right. You think you know? Seriously. Does God love you? Oh, God loves everybody. Who told you that? Well, I'm a good person. What's a good and bad person? I'll give you a couple simple little things. 2 boxers go into a ring. They both do the Hail Mary and they do the cross and all that. God, help me beat this person up. Really? And then they fight. One wins, one loses. People bet on one or the other. So who's the bad guy? Who's the good guy? The person that's going to make you money if you bet on it. The person you like. Not the good or bad person, just the person you like. So when we say good and bad people, the president says, oh, I'm going to draft all the children for the Vietnam War. All right. Okay. During the Vietnam War, the children we sent over were 17. Vietnam, the people were 14. So these men went over there shooting at little kids, blasting them, killing them. I had a girlfriend that was on the front line in Vietnam, and she stayed in for 2 years. They let her go before the 3rd year happened, because all she did was wash dead bodies. Children! Now, put it this way, people. The ignorance of the human race. If you're going to go to war, you're going to go to battle, who do you call on? I mean, I've been watching all the series of like the Last Empire and things like that, the Knights of Templar and all those kind of people. Who would they go to? We're going to go to war. Who do we go? Let's get this little kid, put him on a king's throne, and they start asking him questions. Do you think that's kind of smart? That kid has to be programmed, and then they want him to tell what they want him to tell them. But again, all right, you have a king and queen, and then they decide what they want to do. But from what idea, what knowledge do they have? Killing. Well, if we sneak up on them around here, we can kill them. George Washington actually was able to leave his body. I'm not going to go into the whole story, but he did. And when he rose over the army on the other side, he saw where they are, and he knew what they were doing. He built his headquarters on, guess where on the planet? In New York City, in Harlem. Well, when you go to Harlem, at the end of it, closer to the ocean, the river, you can see the East and West River. So that meant he was able to see boats coming in on either side. The first house was built there, the first castle. I mean, all of Harlem was a stable. But he wrote it, he was psychic, for a word, aware. He's had a prophecy. He wrote it out. It's online. Pull it up. I'm not going to go over what he said, but check it out. He said World War One, World War Two, and World War Three, and he was working with these angels. Check it out, people. People that kill people are still working with angels. How's that? Why would an angel say, "Hey, go over there, kill those people"? You know, we assume we work with angels. We assume everything, but it's not true. Like I said, everything you think you know is a lie, based out of lies and more lies. It's truth versus lies living here. There will always be wars as long as mankind can create their own. There'll never be peace. Most people do not want to be told anything. That's why the Ten Commandments people don't believe in. That's why they create their own laws and their own belief systems. They want to tell themselves what they think they can do or have the right to do. Ask a person that said, God said, okay, you can go kill all those people. It's a good thing. Really? So your child. I'm not going to go into all the horrible things. It's just horrible everything we do. When you have multiple gods, which we always did for the longest time, I add aliens into that because aliens played God to most like the Egyptians and the Mayans. God wasn't talking to them. If you look how they embalm people and all those ideas of embalming and reincarnating back into a body, it was all lies, people. All the hieroglyphics were lies. Well, let's figure out what the pyramids are for. It didn't help them, did it? And it's going to help you now? Well, it's going to bring signals in and we... Really? I mean, the whole UFO world is falling apart. The lies are growing greater and greater. The stories are getting greater and greater. Wow, more and more aliens are coming here. And not for anything good. I'll get back to that later. All right. You know, hold on. We programmed to believe God loves us. When you're a child, you're brought to Sunday school, whatever, and you're told God loves you, God loves you, God loves you. You're told something too many times. It's called power suggestion. You believe it, no matter what faith, no matter what it is, you'll believe it in time. Muhammad met an angel, Gabriel. How do you know it was Gabriel? His brother said, that's Gabriel. Really? So when you talk about angels, how do you know they're really angels of what? What's an angel? A spiritual being that came from the higher realms? Not always. Very seldom. When you read, if you get into the Quran and all those kind of things, read what Gabriel said when he was telling Muhammad. I think it was like 36 phrases. Read them. Every third one contradicts the one before it. Does an angel have to talk in riddles? The same as does an angel have to lie? Think about those things, people, because you follow it, you believe it, you trust in your truth, you believe everything. Do you know your God? Does God tell you to beat people up, steal, rob, make toxic chemicals and all the other things that we do to make money? Every food you eat is toxic. Everything you drink is toxic. What I'm drinking right here, right now, the witch's brew. It's called real lemon, just squeezed from a tree that I planted, and filtered water. All right. Now, how many people drink? Why? Well, it makes me feel good. What do you feel like? You're in hell. What are you supposed to feel good about? People dying, people being killed, people, all those horrible things going on, and you're supposed to be happy. You know, people say, you never smile. You never smile. I mean, I could hear a comedian, I might laugh once during like 20 jokes while everybody's sitting there cracking up. It's hard to laugh when you know bad things are happening around it. You know, when they used to be able to say colors of races and things like that. And it was funny then. It was never funny. Like Saturday Night Live, they had somebody imitating a famous singer, and he pretended he's like this. That's the way the singer sang. I really thought he was retarded. I didn't know he wasn't. But now I thought this guy's making fun of a retarded person. Belushi, okay? And I had to figure that all out. I mean, he wasn't really retarded. It's just the way he sang. But when I saw it, and I said, everybody's just cracking up, rolling on the floor, laughing about it. So, I never thought comedy was good. The older comics, which used to put people in the audience down and all that all the time, they're lucky they were never killed. And you saw what happened to recently. What's happening recently? It's going to become a fad, punching people out while they're doing a show. All right? But I remember when Rivaldo had a famous wrestler on, and he had him on, and he's going, he goes, no, yes it is, it's all fake. The wrestler grabbed him on TV live, grabbed him around the neck, choked him out, dropped him on the floor, and he hit his head during the show live. That's not fake, but in the ring it's fake. Isn't that amazing? How people believe that, accept that it's real. In martial arts, you learn real fast. One punch in the right spot will put a person unconscious or dead. Not 100 shots and kicks and stamps and all these things. Your body would be busted up. One kick to the chest would break all the bones in your chest. When they show you this thing, I mean, Muhammad Ali was my idol. I was young, trying to get into boxing, and he was my idol. I was training and everything. When he wouldn't go to fight, I said, what a stupid move that is. He didn't want to go in the army. It was against his religion to go in the army. But his religion says, beat people up and make money. People take a religion, twist it to make it fit their reality. Whatever it is, however bad it is. People, I know you might hate the way I speak, but sometimes you won't hear it if I don't say it differently. You go to evangelist church, those people are screaming and yelling. There's 20, 30, 40,000 people in the audience. Go to any other church, they got, 100, 200? Why are all those people going there? When they play music, when Beethoven goes, da na 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 na, it's to wake you up. You're falling asleep. They know that. How long can you listen to? I mean, it's a game we play, and we pretend we don't know what's happening. Now, God loves you. Why? Because the Bible says so. Who wrote the Bible? Bunch of men. What men? Just men. Spiritual men. Why were they spiritual? Because they wrote the Bible? And what they said is true? All right. Going into the emerald tablets, Sumerian tablets, and all those kind of things. They're real because they were written a long time ago. I said, I hope maybe 100 years, 10,000 years from now, they believe everything I say was real. That probably wouldn't be heard or remembered or known. But what I'm saying is, if I wrote a carving and stuck it in the ground and the miners were found it, pulled it out of the ground, check this out. This is old and this is real. Why would he bury it? Why would he hide it? The Gospels, there was 40 Gospels. They only put 4 in the Bible, right? If you don't like what you hear, please don't listen. Please. I live in a circle. Everything goes around, and it comes back to the beginning. That's what that means. It's a native symbol. I don't know if you can see it right. It's a circle with a cross in the middle. All right. It's a circle of life. All right. All things come back to the center. All right. And I put everything's a part of what I'm talking about. It's not like just bees are a part of it, snowballs are a part of it, baseball is part of it. No, it all fits together. If you can figure that out, you'll understand half of what I say. Not all of it, but at least a little more than if you don't understand that it's all connected. Not that we're all one. We are not one, but we are all connected in a reality, the earth reality, which is where we live. All right. Now, I never told you what the most important thing you're going to ever hear is yet, did I? And I'm not going to say it yet. I want to do a couple more things. Let's talk about your lies that you tell yourself. God protects you. From what? Dying? Getting sick? Getting run over? Getting hit by a car? Falling out of a ride or anything? God protects you from that? No. Why not? God loves you. Oh, he'll protect me. When? When your child dies, when your brother, mother, father, husband dies, then you die. Where's your protection? What do you call protection? They don't even know what the word means. If a man writes a word for a definition of a word, it's his limited perception of the word. Like when they did the movie Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, it doesn't mean anything, but it was a word. I learned it because it sounded cool. But again, when a word's created, now my friend is telling me every word vibrates because it's a Luciferian word. It comes from Satan. They always say Lucifer, but it comes from Satan. Anything comes from Satan, not Lucifer. But it's the vibration's negative. It vibrates with darkness. And she goes, well, when you name something, you bring it out of the inner unaware to the aware, outer. All right? I'm not using the right words, but I'm trying to figure out what I'm saying. But that's not true. Everything's here. It's just that we didn't give it a name. Because we didn't give it a name, it's not real? No. We want to try to remember what it looks like. I mean, when you tell your son, don't eat the apples, what's he going to go out and eat the refrigerator? I mean, we give it symbols because they vibrate. But the vibration is, I mean, there's many people that try to say the vibration of a word is spiritual. And it relates to something. If I say, kunko, what's that mean? Tell me what spiritual definition that really is. My name's Dakar, and it is incredible vibration. And you could say it, but you won't get anywhere. It's my name. We all have a name because we all vibrate. And our vibration is a word in this physical reality. That vibration can be turned into words, but not evil words, not negative words. Killing, murder, and all those kind of words. Well, it relates to something that happened when the guy created the word. What about cavemen? Ugh, ugh, ugh. What did that mean? Let's have sex. Let's go eat. What did it mean? So, when we do all these twisting of words and everything else, it's a lie. All right. Now, your lies, where did it get you? Are you happy? You happy with everything? Well, there's some good things and some bad things. I said, well, we're dealing with protection here. So you talk about God. God loves you. God protects you. Religions believe it. Now, there's so many levels of religions and spiritualism. How many of them deal with a real God? And now, if they do they understand it? If God came down and told everybody never to eat again, how many people would do that? Truthfully, how many people you think would do that? Well, I'm going to die. I got to eat something. No matter what, we have to do what we think is right, not what God thinks is right. So you think God protects you for what reason? Well, God protects soul, S-O-U-L. That what inhabits your body. But it's not going to work with you when you're not aware. Let me just see if an emergency in case. No. You shut it up. All right. No, it's not. It doesn't need to, doesn't want to, doesn't have to. To say God's going to come here. Why? This cesspool of anger, hate, and all those things. Oh, there's so much love. Where? Well, I said unconditional love to the world. Did it help anybody? No. So all these ideas that man is programmed with, where's it getting them? All right. If a bomb drops on a city and it wipes out a whole city, were they all void of God? You don't think there's multiple people in there praying to God while the war's going on? Don't hit our house and boom, they're blowing up. So what kind of protection? Protection of soul means soul's eternal. Nobody ever taught that, really. You know, people talked about hell like Dante's Inferno and things like that, the levels of hell. But what about the levels of life? When do you really become spiritual? When are you spiritual? All right. Again, you're walking down the street, a tree falls on you, a car comes flying over the road and hits you. Why didn't God protect you? God loves you. We create a scenario where we did in this one experience, but what about all the other ones? Why just one of them? If he's protecting you, and they always say he, if he is protecting you, why didn't he protect you? Because it doesn't care what's going on in hell. Hell's here for a reason. You can't really die, soul can't, but it's here to learn what it is, not what it isn't. You aren't a person living in the physical reality as a main course. All right? It's just a secondary thing that it's going to do because you get attached to things. People, cars, buildings, games, sports, all those things. It gets attached to those things. And then God gets erased from the picture. And God's supposed to protect you? I'm going to get into the reasons why I said the most important thing you're ever going to hear. Well, God protects soul. All right? Now, out of its so-called your idea of love, it allows you to learn. Imagine if you were bad and you were destroyed and your soul was destroyed. No, God loves soul. God created it. God didn't create all the things we do. We're ignorant. We go against everything God taught us, told us, and tried to teach us. Every invention, every cloning, and all those things now. Now they made cloning animals and humans legal in 3 countries. We have been doing it in the United States as well, but I'm not going to get into that. So, all right. So let's talk about this protection. Are you going to keep it and hold on to it like it's really helping you? Of course you are. Well, if I let go of it, then I'm really in trouble. Really? You're going to die. You're not going to live past 125. You're lucky if you pass 90. If you do, you will probably see some of your children die, most of your family die. Is that what you want? You think you're going to be pleasurable when all the people around you die? I was 17 when 20 of my best friends died within 1 year. You don't think that made me feel bad? All right. So we need to look a little bit deeper in our own stuff that we believe. All right. God's going to forgive you for killing. No. Soul is going to come back over and over to pay that karma off. You kill one person. There's families and families that could have been more families and families that will never happen. Then you come out and say, well, Jesus died for your sins. Why do people assume that? Because that's what man said, and they believed it. Jesus did not come here to tell you that. I'm dying for your sins. He died for one reason, people. If you could understand anything about the Bible, Jesus says it very little. And I'll explain that. But he said very little about the truth about that. Jesus died to prove to people that soul doesn't die. That's simple. And now all the stories, well, he lived, he went here, he went there, he did this and all. No, nobody would have believed him, and his story would have been not ever been proven. All right, you die. Well, he died, and he came back. All right, he wasn't a normal being when he came back. He wasn't walking around again like a human. Because he wasn't. He was using his astral body, and he manifested into the physical reality. All right? All the things about can't touch me and all these things, I haven't arose yet. Meaning when you die, you stay by your body for a while. And then you stay in the body for a short time, you stay by your body for a while, and then you leave it. Now, Karma, again, and ego will determine where you're going to go from there. You don't just go up into heaven. All right. Now, when you say, I'm going through this stuff and I'm going to die, and you start thinking about it, where are you headed? What are you thinking about, really? That you might be wrong about everything you think you know? But until then, you'll keep committing your sins. But again, Jesus said a lot of things that nobody talks about in the Bible, like the different places that you go when you die. And he had to use words for, now this is what I'm going to explain. Jesus was living with people, not super intelligent like people are today, very unaware of things. What they knew, you catch a fish, you eat it. You grow corn, you eat it. I mean, farmers and fishermen. I mean, horseshoers putting metal plates on a horse's foot so they don't chop down their feet and things like that. But again, where were you? What were you learning? So when Jesus came and said God, what did they realize? What did they think about God? What do you think about God today? Nothing. Oh, he watches and protects me. That's what you think about God. Billions of universes, billions of beings of different races, and he's worried about you becoming a shoe salesman or a vacuum cleaner salesman. Really? A bartender, a drug dealer. And God has to care about that? Why? Because he loves you. You're so programmed to believe the stories ingrained into your thoughts and reprogram the way you think. Whether you say yes or no. You believe everything's written in the Bible. Because the Bible said so. Men wrote the Bible. Just for your awareness, people, if you're Christian, you probably don't know. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, only 2 of them were Jesus' disciples. 2 of them were evangelists. Check it out. I'm not lying. I was there, I know. So check it out. It's really provable if you go into the details and facts. Evangelists. One followed Peter, and the other one followed Paul. Do you know anything about Paul? Paul never saw Jesus in a physical body. And you got an evangelist following him, studying with him, or trying to learn something. Again, people, you're dealing with men with a mind. Soul doesn't use our mind, people, and you want to believe it does, go right ahead. The mind is not us. I can go into teachings, but I'm not going to do all that. I don't know how much time I want to get into today, how much I'm going to do. I got probably 100 pages if I want to read and go through this today. And I wrote it all in the past 3 days, just so you know. But what are you going to do? What are you really going to do with your life? What do you want to do? I'd like to be rich, I'd like to be famous, I'd like to be wealthy, have a nice house at least, and all those things. Well, you can do that. Do you have to go to workshops and become your super being to do that? No, you just got to apply for a job. If you don't like your job, you apply for a better one. You don't have to go, I'm a 6th-dimensional being. Now I can bring a job into my life. Really? The Secret, I didn't tell you the most important thing yet, but The Secret, when that came out, oh, read this book and you'll be a millionaire. Really? How many people became a millionaire because they read that book? On top of that, one of the people involved, I'm not going to say his name, responsible for the book and the movie and all that stuff, did a sweat lodge. A sweat lodge is a native thing where people go into it's kind of like a tent with a fire burning. There's a fire burning outside with rocks on it. They take the rocks in and make it like it heats up super hot. And then they pray inside there. That's a sweat lodge. So this guy decided to create a sweat lodge with his people. He had, I think, 15 people with him. And then help him attain a spiritual level. Because he didn't know much about a sweat lodge. He made it out of a plastic tarp and things like that. So he brought these people in there. And plastic started burning, producing a gas. and they were all being gassed. Two of them passed out, and things were happening. And when he looked at it, they were all attaining spiritual awareness. The sad part is, people died. 14, well, I don't know the exact number. I'm not bad with numbers, but at least 10 of them had to go to the hospital. Smoke inhalation, toxic poisoning, and the people that died. Well, what about them? Well, he was in court for years because it was like, well, he didn't do it intentionally. He didn't know what he was doing. Well, if you do something unintentionally, does that make it right? You don't do something that you shouldn't be doing. If you're not Native, you don't know what you're doing. You don't go into a Native teaching. It's like me going into a Jehovah's Witness or any other religion and doing something, well, a little more abstract than that, but doing something that could hurt somebody. Sweat lodge, the temperature goes to 120 or more. Some people cannot take it. Your heart goes crazy. There's things they make you do. They don't let you just walk out of a sweat lodge. You put your head on the ground and breathe for a while. If you can't, they can't get you to become okay, then you have to be let. But they make sure the ceremony ends, that round that they're doing ends, and then they'll let you out. It's not a game, and it's not simple. So when somebody tries to do something they can't, and then they say they're spiritual on top of all that, really? Well, no matter what he did in court, he has to face his karma when he leaves this world. People, I don't make things up. I don't lie. To take you down the river and throw you out of the boat or whatever. No, I'm trying to give you the truth. Now, you have to sift through that and filter out your lies to find the truth. Do you keep committing sins every day? Some of us do every day. Are they bad or good? Well, some are bad, some are real bad, some are just little nudges. Do you know the difference? How bad one is versus another? Well, if you're Christian, read Revelations written by John. Go to the chapter where John says what sins can't be forgiven. John said it. All right? A disciple of Jesus said that. So when you think, oh, well, forgiveness, if I pray to God and I just killed somebody, I'm going to thank you, go to a priest and confess it, and I'll be forgiven. I'll just have to say 2 billion Hail Marys or whatever. It's all a programmed idea that man creates to protect themselves. When Jesus healed people, he didn't take credit for much of what he did, ever. He would tell them, you healed yourself. I didn't heal you. All right? And then what did he tell other people? Go out and sin no more. All right? And Jesus said that. What did the Catholic religion do about that phrase? Come to a priest and I'll forgive you. Really? Where did Jesus say that? Man takes words, rearranges them, puts them in different sentences, and make a different belief system out of it. And that's what men do. Do you understand that? You probably will doubt it. And I'm not saying very few people are Christians, because very few Christians will try to listen to anything outside of the box. But here's the thing, people. I'm asking you to send this link to everybody you know. If maybe to get the nudge. And I'm not a comedian, and I'm not very much into laughing about jokes and stuff. So please, if you got to put jokes, put them somewhere else. All right? I'm not in a place where I'm trying to make people laugh, make people think things are funny. It's real. Life and death is real. And most people are really close to dying, getting sick and dying. In the next 2 years, we'll see how many people die. And it's a part of UN Agenda 21-30. Look it up. Read about it. Find out. It's not a make-believe sentence. All right. So now let's try to go somewhere a little bit different. Now, I'm not saying any of this is a religion. Truth and soul is not a religion. It's what and who you are. What you do with that is up to you. It's not up to a religion or a program or anybody else. It's up to you. Most people want to go to a healer today, right now, or a psychic. I mean, I'm going to say your name, Oprah. She deals with Deepak Chopra and Eckhart Tolle. She made them both super millionaires and famous. And when she had David, let's stick with those two first. When she was dealing with Deepak Chopra, and they talked about things, he says, live in the moment. You can't live in any other moment. You can think about them, but you're not living in it because you are in the moment. All right. Now, when you go to Deepak Eckhart Tolle, his thing's very similar. And then Oprah's there talking to him, and she goes, "Well, what about death?" The only thing he could say, "Oh, my mother and father died." So he could say about it. He doesn't know anything other than that. Then Oprah says, moving away, "Well, I don't have any karma, and I don't have any ego." We all have ego, all of us, and with a one of the richest people around, uh, says, "What? She has no ego?" When it comes to money, money and ego are very much equal to each other. And then you add power and sex. That's all it is. It's all scrunched together. It's not about love of God. It's not about truth. It's about making themselves feel good about themselves. I'm not going to go into the details. Oprah had a really serious problem when she was young. And women that have serious problems never get over it. I was in a lifetime, I was a female. I know about things as well. And we all reincarnate different male, female, male, female, male, female, male, 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 female. So you change. You don't have to come back as the same. But it's usually not up to you. It's what experiences you're going to need. And soul's help. And like I said, your guides will help you try to take a life that's going to help you move forward. We are the best we can be most of the time right now. Well, I'm only this. Well, you were probably a lot worse in many other lifetimes. Let's talk about slaves and slave trade and people that built the pyramid, all these kind of slaves, which we all were. So think about it. So you're the best you have ever been right now. So does that make everything right in your world? Sometimes it does. Now, do you think you could do miracles? So when you go to a priest or a healer, they're miracle workers? Power of suggestion, which I was a hypnotist for many years when I was young. Hypnotized all my friends in the neighborhood. I did group hypnosis, and I started doing past life regression and things like that. But when you do things and you tell yourself things, you're telling yourself lies. Tell yourself the truth sometime. See what happens. Who gives a person the right to heal another person? Okay, here's something you need to hear, and I usually try to throw this in where every show that I do when it's pertaining to spiritual awareness. We each have certain things we deal with, but is the truth part of it? It needs to be. You can tell yourself whatever you want. Can you do miracles? You can tell yourself you do. Like some people in the UFO world claim a lot of things already. Egos be growing and growing. But if you keep telling yourself different things, lying to yourself, you believe it. And then you start believing you're better than other people. All right. I try to stay in a balanced state. But what sets me off? When somebody in this real negative state, thinking they know the truth, tries to throw it at you and make you believe it. In a good way. They think it's good, it's right, and it's, well, the first spiritual law, which I was going to try to say, the most important spiritual law in this reality in hell is the law of non-interference. You have no right interfering with another person unless you're asked into it. You have to accept it. And until you do, you'll never leave this realm. Ever. You can't affect other people. You're not God. And people think they're all one and they're one with God and they can do whatever they want. That's why they create their own laws, their own beliefs, their own everything. It's all lies, people. You can lie and lie and lie and lie and lie to yourself all you want. All right. Uh, People talk about, I'm not going to get into it, but rituals and things like that, ceremony. All tribal people do it. All tribal people did. Because they got to create a oneness with other people. And then they take it home and try to do their own ceremonies and everything else. But it's sacrifice. A lot of ceremony was always involved with sacrifice. Killing children, killing women. Does that mean spiritual people were there during Atlantis? They didn't do that. But the Egyptians, the Mayans, and everybody sacrificed people. Oh, it's not going to rain. Let's sacrifice somebody. Whatever it was, they lived by horrible belief systems. Not the truth. The truth wasn't there ever. I know there's a group of people called the Whirling Dervishes. It was out. They came out a long time ago. And what they do, they spin around in a circle and they leave their bodies, which is the first thing you need to learn to do. You don't have to do it that way, but you do need to learn how to leave your body. Well, that's here nor there. All I can tell you is we do not go by the truth ever on this planet. We believe the lies of everybody else. Well, I don't want to get into government yet, but government's not beneficial to the human race. Realize in the United States, the Constitution was not written for poor middle class people. It was written for the rich people. But they took an idea from native people and twisted it into what it is. Native people never considered themselves rich. And white man and a Spanish made sure that didn't happen. Ever. Now, in their desperation to get forgiveness, a lot of the tribal medicine people were given money, lots of money. Not the tribe, just the medicine person or the chief, trying to keep them in control. I had a list of all the reservations in the United States and who was the main person the government worked with. Only a few on that list was a real, most of them were not real full-blood native people. All right. And that meant they bribed these people so that the tribe don't hear the truth or know the truth. So you go to the reservation. I was out in South Dakota on a reservation for a while. It's horrible. It was years ago, but it was super horrible then. I know it's not much better now. 3 years ago, 300 children died within 1 year because the river that flows through South Dakota was toxic. The army base was on top of it, and the children were dying from it. I'm not going to go into that. The government will take me out in a second. I know that. And people say, oh, no, they want certain things out there. I don't blame the government. Why? Because they're supported by rich people that pay them. And they got to protect those rich people, period. All right. I'm dealing with certain things today. I'm not going to go into other topics, which I already spoke about. Sorry, people. All right. I've been at this an hour and 15 minutes, and I know a lot of you are kind of bored, kind of tired. I'm just wondering if I should give you a break. I can play music for a couple minutes to see if you want to go and do whatever you want to do. I don't want you to feel like you missed something. But let me see. Hold on. Let me do this real fast. I'm trying to pull it up. We'll see if we can get it to happen here. What kind of music you want to hear? Daydreaming. I don't know what it sounds like. Let's find out. See, on the internet, they're really critical about what kind of music you can use and everything else. All right, I'm going to let you have a couple minute break. All right, I'm not going anywhere. I'll be right here. But try to shake it out, move around, get yourself back to whatever you want to be. Come back if you want to. You might leave. That's your choice. I'm not making you stay here. I'm not forcing you to listen to what I'm saying. But I'm not a liar. I'm not delusional. Whether you want to believe that or not, that's your choice, people. But truth is what you should be looking for, and don't expect to get it too many places. So I'm going to black out for a couple minutes. Run to the bathroom, get a drink, wake yourself up, whatever you need to do. All right? Take a break. Hello, people. Uh, I hope you had a quick refreshing. All right. I'm going to get back into this a little bit more. Like I said, I'm going to do as much as I can. I don't know. I know when you go over 2 hours, it's really hard for a person to retain awareness of anything that's being said. And they say in an hour, somebody might retain 5 minutes of it. All right. Karma, I'm going to just finish up with that again. We need to realize we create karma, whatever we do. Is it good or is it bad? Is it good or is it bad? Is it good or is it bad? You're going to make that decision. But we try to make everything we do good and believe it's good. But is it really good? Well, what is your mission? What is your goal? What is your mission? What is your goal? Think about it. Save mankind. From what? Karma? You're going to save mankind from karma? Are you really? All right. It's not going to happen. So, what are you going to do? Are you going to worry about it? You can't worry about it. But you should really be open to what you do when you make decisions and when you try to do things. All right. Because when you go out into the world and you say, well, I can do this, I can get away with that, I can do this, all that's karma. Everything you do here has to do with that. Because you're dealing with a body. And, I always say karma because a lot of karma comes with a car. Car accidents, car payments, car fixing a car. It's karma. It's everybody's karma. But it goes into what you do, what you make, what you work at doing. You're a bartender serving liquor, you're a drug den selling drugs, whatever it is. There's all kind of karma created. How much people, when you hurt people, the karma is, and that's something you don't want to do. Hurting yourself isn't as much karma as hurting somebody else. So, think about that. What kind of job you want? What are you going to do? Really? What do you want to do? All right. This world has a lot of different avenues to take. Which one are you going to take? Which direction do you want to go? Remember, this is a short-lived experience. 125 years, if you live that long, is not that long. When you start getting older, like I am, time goes by 10 times faster. I mean, when you're 10, getting to 20 is really a long time. When you're 50, getting to 60, it's starting to change. When it's over 60, it seems like it's going that much faster. All right. Now, I'm going to go back. This is where I want to split it for 1 second. You need to understand God and work at that. It's not going to come easy. It's not going to come overnight. But it needs to come. If you want to become an aware being, if you don't want to reincarnate again, all right, telling your followers, if you have a group of people, you tell your followers, you're responsible for them. And that's karma. So, all the things you think you might get away with, bring back karma. And karma is not instant. I mean, John Lennon sang a song, Instant Karma. You can have instant karma by certain things, but not everything you do is instant karma. Instant karma is for people that are working out karma that they create when they don't have much karma. All right? Because they're working at a higher unaware state, and they're trying to attain that. So when you're talking and stuff, whatever you do, wherever you go, you're aware of that. So you don't want to create karma. So people that aren't in that space are. People say God said this. Well, what God said that? How many people think they can talk to God? Lots of people now. A book called Conversation with God. I mean, I dealt with that person. I could say a bunch of names, but I challenge them all. when you sit there and say you talk to God and you're trying to bring a message out, don't you think the message should have something really solid? Not a programmed idea, like everything's okay? You didn't meet God. If you say everything's okay, you didn't meet God. You wouldn't be in hell if everything was okay. Sorry, you wouldn't be. People don't understand God, don't understand anything about it. When Jesus said to his people, Father, your Father in heaven, he knew people wouldn't understand what God is at any level. So, where's the stories come from? Man's ego, man's mind. So, when Jesus was talking to these fishermen and farmers and they heard Father, they all had a father, hopefully, or was aware they had a father. And they relate to it in that energy. Like, oh, he's my father. He feeds me, takes care of me, does all this stuff. And they related that to God. And that's not what God is. God's not here feeding you everything. Some people say, oh, I get hand fed, but you're not. All right. And the other thing is, which I was going to say later, but you get what you can deal with. Another story. You deal with some karma, they'll give you more. You deal with that karma, they'll give you more. That's what I can deal with. But there's a point when you can't deal with it anymore. And you don't want no more karma. So it's not like you can deal with, you only get what you can deal with. It's not true. It's like you were floating in a boat and was filling up with water. That one more gallon could sink the boat. So when you deal with yourself and you deal with what you create, look within it. Is it helping anything? Is it helping you become more aware? And how is that? And what's really doing it? You got to ask yourself a lot of things all the time, like the dreams and what they mean and all that. Dream study, dream work is another major problem because most people don't understand it, don't want to try to. But it's there for a reason. Everything has a reason. And just because man didn't figure it out doesn't mean there's not a reason for it. Abuse, pain, and suffering is here. Right? The astral body doesn't have the brain, which affects the five senses of the body. So that automatically changes. All right? So where do you want to go with that? You're not going to go far. But I kept it hidden. I'm going to say something right now. I'm going to go back to the idea of religion, what people believe. I kind of talked about it already, but when you die and you go to heaven, and where do you think you're going to go? Who do you think you're going to be with? All those ideas. All right? They're all lies. All right? Then you go to a psychic and you ask them to tell you what really happened. And they're going to tell you more of nothingness than the truth. Why? A psychic reads energy. When you go into a psychic, they look at you and it senses it. You all have an aura. We all can see auras if you want. You see a person's aura. Right there, you know what level this person's at. Whether they're really fragile or really hardcore, what you're really into and all that stuff. So now you are playing God at that moment, but you decide all that. You decide what you want to throw at this person now, which is going to keep them in control and everything else. But when they do that, what are they dealing with? When a psychic says, I'm going to heal you, of what? By what power? Well, I know you were this. Your father said this to you. Your father said he's above watching you and protecting you. All those statements. Oh, my grandfather's, and you believe all those things. Why? Are they real? Are they real? Are they real? Think about it. No, they're not. But you accept it as real. Why? Because the psychic told you, and he's talking to your family, so he knows who he's talking to. He is talking to energy. All right. When a soul leaves this world, their energy stays here for a period of time. And now that energy is kind of you in this reality, what you were. Of course, you can read it and say, oh, well, this, that, and the other thing. But does it last? No. So now, when he's talking and he says, well, your father's standing right here, who is he talking to? What if he is talking to your father right then and there? This is something nobody talks about. All right? Psychics will talk about it. It would destroy their credibility. Why? Let's get into that. That's what I'm going to talk about right this second. I was holding off talking about it, but here it comes. The most important thing you might understand and learn out of this can help you a lot. When you're talking to these psychics, are talking to your family, your children, your father, mother, grandfather, who are they talking to? If they're sensing it by reading the energy of a person is one thing. So I'm going to get tired sitting in the chair. And the other thing is, what if they are talking to your father? You know what that means? Any idea? Nobody ever talked about it. It means that soul did not go to heaven. You can't be in heaven and then working here. You're not Superman, you're not a super being, and you're not any of those words. You're not an angel. So if you didn't meet with your grandfather, your mother, whatever, they're here. They didn't get to leave. You don't become that when you're on the astral plane. But see, that's why people say, well, they're in heaven and they're talking to me. No, they're not. They're talking to you. They're not in heaven. Soul is a real thing. In this body, in the astral body, it's a real thing. It's not a dream or an illusion. They have different functions, different vibrations, and all that. But it's real, and it's really who you are. So, where do you think the word ghost come from? People that haunt their house, and why? And they always make it sound like somebody had to die there. And usually that's one reason why they do stay there. And that's why you can still talk to them directly. Not the energy, but them. All right. I worked in the Juma Mansion, New York City, in Harlem for a couple of years, working on freeing all those souls that were stuck there. Don't ask me how I learned it, why, or anything, but I did. And I did it many times, different ways, and for different people. But crossing them over, getting them out of the house that they were locked in. All right. But they're here. So when you say, oh, my mother's in heaven, you want to believe that. But if she's standing in front of you and she's hanging out here, she's not there. That's not the mission, their mission, and it's not the truth. Because every soul, when it leaves, has a greater mission. And it's not taking care of the family that they left here. Sorry to say that. All right. But it becomes critical mass. What's going down, understanding the energies and what's real and what's not, what's here, what's not, what is here and what is not. What's on the astral plane? Many people want to go there even. They're afraid to go there, afraid to leave their bodies. Well, something has to give them fear. But is it from your family programming, from religion? Where does it come from? And my phrase, which I say, should only be one thing you fear or be afraid of. One thing. It's called God. You don't have to fear your angels. They're not going to hurt you. You should worry about Satan, demons, lost souls, all those words. But you should fear God. Not in a bad way. Know that what it tells you is right. God's not going to tell people to kill people. God's not going to do a lot of things that we would assume, well, we're more, we have to kill all those people. No. The story of Jesus when he said, turn your cheek. You get hit here, you turn it and then hit the other side. You run out of cheeks, I guess you punch them out. But that's besides the point. But understanding, they always say a wrong doesn't make a right, right? I mean, two rights don't make a wrong, two wrongs don't make a right, all those kind of phrases. But if you think somebody killed your son, you can kill them, and it's right, it's not. So, are you ready to change any of your morals to fit the truth? Probably not. You're going to believe you go to heaven. You're going to believe you can meet your family. And who told you that? The Bible said so. Really? Who wrote the Bible? God? Well, I want you to realize all that if you can. It's not simple. And it's not a simple idea, but it's the truth. The total truth. All right, I'm just going to skip some stuff that I just went over. Getting away with things is mankind's excuse for doing what he wants. I get away with it, I can do it. Not whether it's right or wrong. Well, Jesus said you've got to live by the laws of your country. If they're unjust, you change them. Now, we got a Republican and Democrat parties. Both of them are fighting each other. People still fighting to tell us what to do? Well, that person's going to like them a little bit more than me, or these people are going to like me a little bit better than them. But there's religion. You don't have to live by a religion. You live by truth. Democrats and Republicans are both usually wrong. Whatever their decisions are, is usually not beneficial for everybody. How can the rich still get away with what they do? It's amazing. Man, in his own ignorance, okay, is given very little freedom. But when the government tells you to do things, you got to do it. Like I said, unless you can change it soon, then you don't have to do it. You know, here's a simple little thing. Doing what's right. How do you know you're doing something that's right? During Vietnam War, I was almost drafted, decided not to go in. 1969. I suppose I've just graduated high school. I joined the Rev. I signed up to join. I went for the physical and all that stuff, and I passed. And I was supposed to go in 2 weeks. I met my girlfriend. Got married later on, but that met my girlfriend. I decided I didn't want to go in. So I had really serious problems. I had peptic ulcers. All right. And I told him that. And I said, well, we can't bring you in. And I got out. So at the same time, my brother went in. He had to go in. I know you heard stories where they can't take two brothers, which they can. But in the old days, you couldn't kill both of them, and then the family couldn't survive. So it's just a game, more man ego games. During that time frame, I learned a lot because when my friends were dying, two of them came back crazy. Uh, it was a horrible time. That's just one war. And we had the right. We understood freedom. We understood those things. But see, there's so many things going on at the same time. Did you know aliens were involved with Vietnam? I'm sure you didn't. And they were. Every war that we have, aliens are around. And make it short, they're not here to go and fight with one of the armies or anything like that. They're collecting bodies. Seriously. And they do. So when we talk about something we really don't know. You should. Well, what I'm thinking, when we get into that spot and when you see it, it's hard for me to tell you everything I can see. All right. I know you don't believe half of what I say. You accept probably a quarter of what I say, if that. So I close my eyes and I see something, which I do too often. And I see things happening all the time. But I see the truth. Tell me what good things are going on. They save a child from a fire or a house burning, or they blow up the city. Is that balance? And they say the world lives in balance? Well, like when the war was balance. Some children, boys, young people, realized it was, and they didn't want to be part of it. So they ran up to Canada and were accepted up in Canada. So they didn't have to kill. So they didn't have to break a spiritual law. So we go on and we talk about these things like we know it, but we don't. Most people don't. So uh, a famous woman, I'm not going to say her name, on Coast to Coast, claimed that we don't create karma. She's one of the oldest speakers in the New Age world, and very deeply, very giftedly accepted. They all took her as the greatest thing there was. Whatever she says, they believed it. She was on Coast to Coast, and I called in. So what about war? She goes, "Oh, it's okay, because when you go to another country and kill, you're not killing. You're not killing. You're killing people." Oh no, it's different when your government tells you. I said, when somebody tells you to kill somebody, makes it right, and then they cut me off. But it's amazing how people listen to certain people just because who they are. Money, like Mr. Musk and Gates, and what they're saying now, and what they think, and all those things. We have to accept that. And even the other one I call Bosco, but I call him Bosco. But again, what are they telling us? They're brainwashing us to accept certain things. Gates has no clue what's happening to the world. Why climate change is really happening. Nobody talks about that. All right? Musk is talking about putting people on Mars for what reason? They just had the biggest volcano explosion uh, 2 days ago. The biggest one ever recorded, but it was on Mars. So I guess they felt it here. Believe it or not, we can feel it here. But I also called in on Coast to Coast with another person in the UFO world who claimed all these things about aliens and cattle mutilation and stuff. I challenged the first time they cut me off. I called back again the next time she was on, and I got to debate her for about between 8 and 10 minutes. She was claiming about the disease that was affecting all the animals in the United States. And she goes, "Oh, it's the deer that drink the water from the volcano." I said, "No, that's not what it's about, because deer are dying all across the United States. Herds of them, not just one. So there's something bad going on, and it's not that they're drinking water from the volcano." We tried meaning, I'm not going to say who's we, tried chemicals on things like chemtrails and all that. Do you understand what I'm trying to say here? We create all this stuff. And is it helpful? Is it beneficial? Does it do anybody good? No. Drugs do not help people. I have to say, well, hepatitis 3, the cure for it's only $70,000, but it's 98% will cure the disease. How I know? My partner had it, and have it done and go through it. It's 3 months. It's $1,000 a pill. You think that sounds right? You think it really costs them $1,000? They want us to pay for all the time that they have them in the lab doing research. So there's so much research going on, and we should be paying for it? Right now in the United States, they're creating, and this is online, pull it up, about creating viruses with no cures. I think they mentioned 12 labs, but they won't give the address and location because they know they would be taken out. I'm not going to go into all those kind of details because it's the same as what Russia did to the Ukrainian people, because they had labs there, and they were the first things they took out. So whenever you think something's good, it's not. What will ever be good now? Like I said, these people ran up to Canada. They were allowed back into the United States, which was a good thing. I don't know if they'd be so happy to do it again in this time frame. Well, the scenarios we're dealing with are not spiritual. Aliens are not helping us with anything. And all you hear is, well, the good aliens are going to help us. Who's the good alien? Who's the bad alien? Like I said, in a boxing ring, which one of them is the good one and which one's the bad one? They were sent here by their government. They didn't build their own ship and come here. So how did they get picked? What were their characteristics? Robbery, thief, murder, all those kind of words? No. Not if they're going to put them in this really big ship that's super expensive and all that, and let them take control over it. People fall short when it goes into reaching out in your thinking and try to separate the mind from soul. Soul knows a lot more than mind does, but it's programmed so bad by being in it. All right, karma is always there, always will be. But there is a good and bad, karma or no karma, meaning not creating karma. Okay, I want to go into a couple of little things before I let everybody go. There is no room in this reality for higher consciousness. Oh, we need it. Oh, it'll change. Change what? It's based out of ego. Thinking you can change something. Change an apple into a football. Change a car into a submarine. It doesn't happen. You can't. So why do you think you can change anything else into something else? Ego is our flaw. It's also our benefit. Learning to separate mind and soul is very complicated, but it's important to do it. Consciousness can only come, sorry, I don't want to use the word consciousness. Awareness can only come from knowing a real God. Not a man-made God. It's not going to happen that way. But thinking, when you do that, you attain control over people. That makes you a spiritual giant. Spiritual only helps your soul. And the only thing it's really going to help is to move on, to get out of hell. But since you're so attached to this reality and everything in it, you think it's a great world. You won't after the next 2 to 10 years, 8 years, roughly, max. Why do you think they created FEMA camps, underground cities? Why don't people talk about that? They're not make-believe ideas. They've been shown and proven they're real. But nobody talks about it. How do you get in it? How do you become a person living in there? Well, get a lot of money and you'll find out real easy. So, what I will say before I finish today, there's a rule over this reality, and it's not Lucifer. All right? It is Satan. When people think Jesus is going to come back, why would Jesus come back? Think about it. What's in it for Jesus to come back? Save a few more souls? A few more souls? When he was here, he saved a few souls. And then he was killed. So is that beneficial to you, to your family, or anything? Satan rules over man and aliens. In case you don't know about death and all that. Well, I think it's time. I'll do that next time, maybe in 2 days. Satan ruled over man and aliens for a while. And we were aliens. We were brought here, people. We didn't hatch here. We weren't taken, girls weren't taken out of our ribs to become females and all those kind of theories. If you believe the story of Adam and Eve was a story. I tell people to read it 5 times, 3 times in a row. Listen to what's being said. It's not written by a God. It's written by a person claiming to be God. All right? When he says, our kind, who's our? Our. When he talks about our animals, really, who's our? Our is a plural word. It's not, he never said I. It was always our. I hope you know what our means. It's on the hour? No, not that hour. All right. When we deal with things like that, your time is cutting short. You've got very little time to move forward from it. So I can't tell you to let go of Adam and Eve. Think about it. Read it once, then read it again. Look at how God is talking to Adam. What it says to Adam. People are programmed over and over. Like I said, the Bible did a great number on man's thinking. But it was the way it was put out there, and it was accepted. I don't want to go into something totally different, but getting back to, I hope you got something out of the things I said. Remember about going to heaven, not going to heaven, being a ghost, a spirit, who comes back and helps people, really? You're dealing with an angel? How do you know? How do you prove it? What is he telling you to do? What is he telling you not to do? I mean, listen to your heart. Your heart is a symbol. It's not like the heart says, okay, go get a job, don't get a job, or things like that. It doesn't. So we put all this energy and creating an energy to put into these things. But it's all lies. So I'm going to let you go. I hope you got something out of today. I'm going to try to mark this. Where am I? All right. The ideas that I tried to disprove or try to make you think about them, it's up to you. Because, when you touch something, when you touch leaving your body the first time, everything changes. Who and what you think you are changes. It's not ego. You don't need ego to know what you are. You need a smidgen of ego because that's making you think that you are something and it's you. But when the ego overpowers soul, which it does, you think you're better than everybody. You think you're the greatest. You think you're this. I know what I went through in my life, and I know it's more than 90% or even more than that of the planet. Does that make me better? No. Does that make me more spiritual? No. I'm still here. I'm living in hell. So I can't say I'm spiritual. When I leave, I don't want to talk about that, but look, that's all I can tell you right now. If you got questions, send it to hawksblood1 AOL.com. Send it to truth and God only at AOL.com. Or you want to talk live on Skype, Hawksblood11. I do this not for money. I'm not doing it for fame. If I wanted fame, I wouldn't be able to say things about other people and get away with it too easy. This will be the people that I'd be working with or dealing with and all those kind of words. But no, it's not going to happen here, people. So, please, people, I'm doing a show for major reasons. I hope you perceive the truth in what I go through to do that. I'm not creating a comedy show, all right? It's not about that. Like I said, I don't laugh. You could say dumb things, but I'm not going to laugh at it either. All right. It is time for me to close out. It's 1 o'clock my time, and it's already getting late wherever you are. So thank you for coming in. Thank you for listening. Again, there's a lot more to get into. But I know it'll mess with you. You can't have too much energy with different mind ideas and aspects of the truth from soul. And you gotta learn the difference. I'll say that the last time. You need to learn the difference. Right? Soul and mind. Soul usually talks to you first, mind usually talks to you second. Think about that when you hear a sentence or a word. There's a lot of techniques you can do, simple techniques, but I'm not going to give them to you now. So till next time, people, enjoy your day. Thank you for listening. Thank you for coming into the chat room, people. But there's more to life right now. There's more death. So, and especially more people going to be dying. So till next time, peace, love, compassion, whatever you need in your life. Hope you get it. Don't take wooden nickels. I mean, there's a lot of dumb phrases they put out there. All right, I'm not even going to go into them. Not right now. So, again, I'm here for truth to bring it to people that are ready to hear it. Not anything else or any other reason. I don't lie. I'm not twisting the stories. So I hope you understand that and accept it as well. So until next time, people, enjoy your day, enjoy your night, wherever you are. If you're listening to in this, whatever day time frame it is. I mean, I'm 1 o'clock right now. So, whatever part of the country you're in, I hope you can translate this. I know some sites can, some sites can't. But peace, love, compassion, whatever you need, truth is more important than all. So ask for it. All right, till next time.